What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the shed. My name is John McGrath and this is part 15 of this custom guitar build. Now it's another roasting hot day here in Ireland. It's Sunday, so it's t-shirts and shorts for me, and I have a few hours, so I want to get some work done on this guitar while I can. So we're going to fit the hardware. We're going to pre-fit all the hardware and get all our pilot holes and everything drilled so that we can get ready for final sanding. So I'm going to fit the bridge, the pickup mounts, the tuning heads, drill out for our control gear. We'll get all that stuff fitted. Then we can remove it all, and then we can do the final sanding on this guitar. Now today, like I say, is a Sunday. The fret wire will be here Tuesday, so I can tackle that then. And then I need to decide on pickups, what pickups I'm going to put in this thing, and it's almost on the home straight then, so it'll just be the oil finish that I'm going to apply to this guitar, and we're almost home and dry. So let me get you in for a closer look. I'm going to show you all the hardware that I got. As always, the links will be in the description to where I bought all this stuff. So yeah, let's crack on with that. I'll get you in a bit closer now and let's do it. Right, we're going to run through the hardware that I bought for this guitar. I got all this stuff from Axe Tech in the UK. Links will be in the description below so you can see for yourselves where I got it. I've built a few guitars before using their stuff. It's very reasonably priced. It's inexpensive stuff, but it's good quality. It's kind of a generic brand stuff. I think most of it gets made in Korea, but it is good quality stuff. So that's what we're going to use on this guitar to keep the cost down. I was going to run with a shallow hands bridge, but I bought all this gear for the price of a shallow hands bridge, so it was kind of a no-brainer. And like I say, I've used it before, so it's good quality stuff. So we'll just take a quick look. So the first things we have anyways are locking tuners. I'll just get one out there and give you a quick look at it. So they're just standard locking tuners there. Hopefully the camera will focus on that. There we go. Nice and simple. They have a nice action on them. They feel very positive. They lock up well and they stay in tune, so that's the most important thing. I'll just give you a look at the gear inside it. So let's see if the camera will focus on that. There we go. You see, so the components are actually pretty good in this. And like I say, and they're relatively inexpensive for what they are. So yeah, that's our tuning heads anyway. So we're going to fit these. I'll get these all pre-drilled and fit today. So we put them aside. Another bag of stuff here. Let's go through this. Here's our bridge. Again, this is relatively inexpensive, but it's nicely made. Everything is nicely machined. So let's get the camera to focus on that. Hopefully, there we go. So everything is really nicely machined, and again, these are relatively inexpensive parts. This is a hardtail fixed bridge, so it's going to be a string through body. So we have holes in the back there, so we'll fit that as well today. Then we just have the pickup rings. Again, these are just metal pickup rings. They're just nice and flat. We'll get a closer look at them later. I'll just run through this stuff quickly. Our control knobs then are just knurled black control knobs. Get the camera to focus there. No, not going to focus. Alright, don't worry about it. We'll get a closer look at all this stuff later. Now, I bought some push pots in case we want a coil split or coil tap. Can't say it. Push pots are a little bit easier to use than the push pull, because they just it's a click and then it's another click. So these are the pots. See if that camera is going to focus on that stuff there, is it? There you go. So these are our pots. Again, it's just push. So it's not a push pull, it's a push, which is a little bit easier to use when you're playing the guitar. So we might fit these. I haven't decided yet. That's one of our pots. Then I bought, what they do is they do a Les Paul kit, but they do a professional kit where they use all their high-end pots and gear. So let's just get you a look at one of these. Now these are Korean made pots again, but they're their higher end pots. So I'm thinking maybe putting these in the guitar. So let's get the camera to focus on that. There we go. A quick look at those. And then we have our orange drop caps. So we'll be putting them in the guitar as well. Focus, there we go. Alright, so that's our gear. Then we have just our wire. We have braided wire. We have tinned copper wire to bridge everything out. So to ground everything, I'm going to use a standard 3-way switch. It's the Les Paul type switch. Will that focus there? Alright, I'll show you later. Don't worry about that. Right, so that's basically it. We have our tuning heads. We have our push pots. We have a higher end pot that we might go with. We'll see. Standard Les Paul switch, locking tuners, fixed bridge. We have our string through ferrules then as well, which will be black. They're there somewhere. Let's have a look and see. Get all this gear out. They're here somewhere. There they are. So they're that's up here. There they are here. So our string ferrules, which will go into the back of the guitar, they're just black string ferrules. Again, we'll get a closer look at all this. I'm just running through this quickly. We have our strap locks. So that's everything there, I think. Then that's about everything. Yeah. So first things first, we're going to fit the bridge to this guitar. So let's do that. Okay, guys. I need to explain this. So hopefully I have you set up in a place where I can actually show you this, because there's a little bit of detail we need to go into here. Right. So I have my center line re-established with my laser. Okay, that's the most important thing. So that's straight up the middle of my fretboard, and it's hitting my nut dead center, which is what I want. So that's our center line. Now I measured back from my nut to this line here. Hopefully you can see that. That's my scale length, so it's 25.5 inches. Now we don't put the bridge to that line like so. What we want to do is have this line in the middle of our saddle movement. Now what I mean by that is our saddles, our string sits on the front edge of our saddle, so that's where our scale length needs to be. Now our saddles have a maximum adjustment out the way, and they have a maximum adjustment in the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this saddle out to it as far as it can go. I'm going to mark a line directly opposite that. I'm going to take it back as far as it can go and mark that line. And it's the center then of those two lines is where we put our scale length. That gives us maximum adjustment front and backwards, so we have plenty of room to intonate this guitar. Alright, so that's essential. So I have, hopefully you can see this now. I can't really see the camera screen, but I have this saddle. It's out as far as it's going to go, and we're down to near the end of the thread, and that puts my string right here. And then we go back in as far as we can take it now. So that puts us about there. So any more than that now, and that screw is going to start catching our string on us and pinching our string. Alright, so that's as far back as that saddle can go. So that puts my adjustment about there. So you don't get a whole lot of adjustment. I could probably actually go back to about there. Let's see. Okay, that's my maximum adjustment back the way. And directly opposite that then, that puts me here. Okay, so let's see if I can get the camera to zoom on that. There we go. So these two lines here and here, that's the maximum adjustment on my saddle, and it's in between those two lines is where I want to set my line for my scale length. Now I've marked the dead center of this saddle here and on the top up here, so I'm going to line that up with my center line, then I can mark my 4 holes. So that's what we're going to do now. So my laser is hitting it exactly on there, and I have my center line marked here. And I have my scale length exactly in the middle of those two lines. So that's my bridge set up square now. So what I'm going to do is just mark our mounting holes dead center. Okay, that's our 4 mounting holes there. So we're going to mount our bridge now. I'm going to disassemble. We're going to remove all the saddles from the bridge, disassemble it, and then we can mount it and we can mark out for our string through ferrules. Alright, that's the next process. So let's do that. Alright guys, we have our bridge disassembled and we have it back in place. We have everything lined up. We're lined up with our center line. There is a center hole on this bridge, a fixing point, so I can see my center line running straight through. That is exactly center of our bridge. So that's my first one I marked and drilled. So I marked it right on the center line and just punched it with a brad point bit for a guide for my bit. It's a 2mm bit. We just pre-drilled the pilot hole in, and we're just going to mount this. So the center screw is the first one we're going to put in, so it just keeps everything nice and center for us. Okay, just make sure we're happy with everything else. Everything is perfectly aligned there. We're good to go. Our bridge is nice and solid now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the rest of our pilot holes. So I'm just going to mark the center with our brad point. We don't have to put all our screws in now, so I'm just going to put in 2 corner screws just to hold everything in place, make sure nothing moves, and then I'm going to mark out for my string ferrules. So let's do that. Right, we're going to mark out for our string 2 holes now. We have this screwed down, it's not going anywhere. It's probably not necessary to put in 2 more screws. Once you have it nice and solid and everything lined up, you're good. So I'm just going to mark the center of where my strings are going to go through the guitar now. Make sure we're good. Center of each one of these. Okay, so that's that marked. Now we can pull off our bridge and we can get ready to drill these through. It's exactly a 3mm hole for these to go through, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to use a 3mm hole and go straight through our guitar, and I'll show you what we do for that now next. So let me get this off and then we'll get set up for drilling through this. Okay guys, we have our strings marked out, or our string holes to go through the body. We have our bridges out of the way now, so what we need to do is drill the 2 outermost, the 2 E strings. So they have to be drilled straight through the guitar at 90 degrees, and we can use them then to line our bridge up at the back of the guitar and mark our holes that way. Then our center holes will be drilled halfway from either side. It's just in case anything gets out of alignment, and we want everything straight on the front and straight on the back. So it would be a disaster if these holes came out crooked and you could see your string ferrules on the back of the guitar all out of alignment. It just wouldn't look good. Right, ideally a drill press you would use for this. I haven't got one that's large enough to do this, so I just have a handheld one. So that's what I'm going to use. So I have these already punched. So I'm going to drill this fella and this fella all the way through the guitar. I have a piece of timber under the guitar just to drill into, and then we'll flip it over. We'll mark it with our bridge from the back, and yeah, you'll see what I'm doing anyway. So let's crack on with it. So this should keep me at 90 degrees to the guitar, and hopefully my head isn't in the way of the shot. Make sure that we just get this guy lined up. Okay, I'm actually going to have to take the spring off this side to allow me to get down deep enough. So I will do that now. Right, so we removed our spring. That should allow us to get all the way through the body of the guitar now. So that should be good. Let him sit there. Yeah, we're out the back there nicely. That's good. So now we want to do the same with our top string. We're perfectly straight. Again, take your time doing this. You do not want to mess it up. Okay. Sure, he's sitting straight on top of the guitar. Right. Okay. So that's our 2 holes on the far side of the guitar. Now we can line up our bridge with those. They sit perfectly like that, and we just mark these guys out. So that's held dead center for me there. Okay, that's happy days. Again, just get our brad point bit then, or if you have a punch, just use a punch. Just going to mark it with that. So now we can drill them in. Like I said, we don't want to go to full depth with these. We want to drill them from both sides. Right. Flip it back over. And there we can see, I don't know will the camera catch that, but we can really catch the light through. We're perfectly true, and we're perfectly straight through our guitar with our holes. So that's just a nice simple process. Just remember to do the 2 outside ones first, line your bridge up with the 2 outside ones, and then drill your holes halfway from either side. Just in case any mistakes are made, you can line the holes up inside in the timber, but if they're crooked on the back or the front, it's going to look terrible, alright? So that's that done now, so we can sand that off. Next things we want to do now is fit our string ferrules. So that's what we're going to do next. Right guys, we're going to drill out for our ferrules now. They're just over 8mm and they have a 10mm top that we need to countersink in. So I'm going to take it up through various size bits. I have them all marked for depth. It's just that if you go with a large bit straight away, you can get a lot of tear out and it can tear some chunk of timber out on you, and which is what you don't want. It has happened to me before and it's a sickening feeling, believe me. So we're going to start off 4.5 to 5 to 6 up to 8mm, and we'll work it nice and handy, nice and slow, take our time, and hopefully we don't get any tear out. Right, so I'm going to do that. Right guys, we have a slight little issue here. I think what happened was the drill bit drifted into the sapele. The sapele is a much softer timber than the maple, and even though I took great pains for it not to happen, the drill bit drifted over. So you can see these moved, each hole either side of the sapele just moved a mil or two into the sapele. So we have a problem now. Even though all our string holes, if I look down the holes, are exactly where they need to be, I can see that the outer holes, the larger holes, are offset over the string holes. So the question is now, do I make plug these and try and re-drill them, or do I try and, if I put these all in place, so the actual outer ring, the top ring of the ferrule covers all the holes if they're where they should be. So do I widen these holes just out a small bit this way and this way, and leave these, the top ring just sit on top of the guitar without countersinking it, and that will cover the holes. That gives me that extra little bit of mill left and right. So I need to make a decision now on what I'm going to do here, because I can't leave it like this. Almost a disaster, but we'll sort it. We'll take the good with the bad, and we'll learn in future. So next time I'm drilling, if I'm drilling into a laminate, I just have to remember that that's a softer wood and the drill bit can drift. And it's exactly what happened. These two holes drifted into the sapele, and the same with these two holes drifted into the sapele as well, which is a balls. Right, so we'll keep going and we'll come back to this. Okay, next up, I'm just going to mount the pickup rings. There's nothing really too difficult about this. Again, just make sure that we have them centered on our center line and that everything lines up perfectly. I have a mark here and here. The camera won't pick it up, but I have these two pickup rings marked. I have the laser gone across them so they're perfectly centered. So I'm just going to mark the 4 holes and just pre-drill them. I'm not going to mount these yet. Obviously I don't want to put the pickups in and warn them, but I just want to have the holes drilled before we do the finish on the guitar. So that's what I'm going to do now. Simple as that. Right, now we need to look at doing our controls. So I just want to check the depth of material that we have here. I've got a 10mm thread on my pots, so I already need to remove some material here if we haven't got enough. So we'll check that. Okay, and we're just over 10mm in our top, so we need to take 3 or 4mm out of that. So what I'm going to do now is get a Forstner bit, and I'm going to just remove about 3 or 4 mil of material here for our pots to sit in. Alright, so we'll set that up and we'll do that now. Okay, so we drilled out some recesses for our pots, and we went down a couple of mil just to give us enough to get our thread on, because there are only 10 mil threads on these pots. So that's it. We're down far enough now to get a thread on. So that's what we want. Now we're going to drill out for each of our pots. Now our push pots have an 8 mil thread on them. Our volume pot has a 10 mil thread, and our switch is a 12 mil thread. So we need 2 8 mil holes, a 10 mil hole, and a 12 mil hole. And I'm just going to drill that out with a comb bit. It'll just step it up for me as I go. So I want to go 8 mil, 8 mil, 8 mil, 8 mil, 12 mil, 10 mil, and let's not mess that up. Okay, here we go. Right guys, I'm back in the shed. It's later on that day. What I did was I made 4 maple plugs. Just plug these holes so that I can re-drill them. It's the best I can do now. And we have to try and recover from this catastrophe. So I should have used a brad point bit, but I was worried about tear out, so I used just the metal bits. And yeah, obviously you can see it was a disaster, which is unfortunate because our holes straight through our guitar are perfectly straight through the guitar, and it's just that the bits drifted into the softer sapele and they condensed these two and these two. But the show must go on, as they say, so let's get on this and let's see if we can put this right. So I'm just going to reline this up again, mark it out. I'm going to use 2 drill bits here just to hold this for me, just to make sure our center over our 2 outer holes, so we're good at that. And just mark this thing out. Okay, so we can see actually this one wasn't too bad. This one had drifted a good bit into sapele. This one had drifted in as well, and this one had really drifted in. Right, so now let me punch these, and then I'm going to drill them with an 8 mil bit straight out, and hopefully I don't get much tear out, and hopefully it goes where I want it to go. So fingers crossed for this one, guys, because I don't fancy making these plugs again. Okay, let's attempt to drill this. Apart here, so we're spaced a lot better now, so hopefully this is going to do the trick. Okay guys, we've improved the situation a good bit. It's still not 100% ideal, but let me see if you can see this. You can see all the holes line up through our guitar anyway. Even though the spacing is still a little off, but it's the best we can do in this situation. We have to recover from this mistake now, so hopefully all these will sit in beside each other without too much bother. I'll just give them a test fit. That one might need a little bit more work. And then this one. Right, we have a small bit of a gap to our last one and to this side. This guy is the fella that caused us the problems. He moved over, so yeah, I'll countersink them now, and hopefully it won't look too bad. Look, it's going to work perfectly. It's not going to affect the sound or tone or anything of the guitar. It's going to work and stay in tune. It's just a little bit unsightly now, but unfortunately I have to live with it. We have to continue on, mistakes and all. So right, let's rock on. Alright guys, that's it for part 15. It's been an eventful day to say the least. But we've recovered, not perfectly, but it will work. But lessons have been learned. Again, mistakes made, lessons learned, that's what it's all about. That's what life's about. Also in the confusion, I forgot to hit the record button when I was fitting the machine heads, but we can get that in the next guitar. There will be more guitars. So yeah, so now all the hardware is drilled out, everything is fitted. We can move on now. I can do the final sanding on this body. The frets will be here Tuesday, so I'll do the fret work. And then final sanding, then we're on to the finish. And then it's electronics, pickups, and let's play it. So yeah, I've been John McGrath. This has been a little bit of a mistake. This is Man in Shed. This is my custom guitar build. We'll catch you in the next one.